Welcome to From the Press Box. I'm Lauren Fluker. Today's show will talk about Tigers' big win, a little NASCAR, and our NFL update. From the Press Box starts right now.
A few weeks ago, we talked about if we thought Tiger's play at the Honda Classic meant that the old Tiger was back, and it looks like he may be.
Well, Jamal, I do distinctly remember you making these comments.
He lost. I want to say it one more time. He lost. He didn't win.
Well, on Sunday, he snapped his winless streak of 26 PGA Tour events with a 13 under par performance for the tournament. This was Tiger's 7th win at the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
That's one shy of the most by anybody in a single PGA Tour event since 1920, when Sam Snead had 8 wins at the Greater Greensboro Open.
Looks like the old Tiger is back.
You can say that again. Well, speaking of repeating, the Bulls are going to be making a repeat appearance in the playoffs.
They're the first team to clinch a playoff berth this season and the first team to reach 40 wins.
The impressive part is that they are 12-4 in the 16 games that last year's MVP, Derrick Rose, has not been able to dress.
And don't forget they brought in Richard Hamilton to start at shooting guard, but he has only played in 16 games this season because of several injuries.
This team is poised to make a deep playoff run and a championship push if they can make it past the Heat.
And that is a big if. Another big if is whether you can have a perfect bracket during March Madness. Out of almost 6.5 million brackets entered on ESPN, only a little over 25,000 had the Final Four correct, or 0.4%.
Yeah, we all know my bracket's just a little bit messed up.
Well, as long as my Kentucky Wildcats are in there, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, as you said, Kentucky's made it to New Orleans, as well as Kansas, Ohio State, and Louisville.
When Kentucky plays Louisville, it'll be an interstate matchup and put Coach Rick Pitino against the school that he once coached.
That'll be a pretty interesting matchup.
Or a pretty interesting blowout.
And in the other matchup of Ohio State and Kansas, it'll be only the 9th time the teams will have met in school history, but the 2nd time this season. In the first matchup, the Jayhawks won, but one of Ohio State's best players, Jalech Sullinger, sat out that game.
Well, just like him, we're going to have to sit out for a minute as we go to a break. But when we return, we'll have D. Orlando Ledbetter in studio for an interview. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. I'm here with D. Orlando Ledbetter. I want to thank you coming back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jamal. It's always a pleasure.
All right, so we all know how important quarterbacks are to the team. They're your leader here. So we pretty much know where RG3 and Andrew Luck are going to go in the draft, the top 2 quarterbacks. What about other teams outside that aren't going to be able to get their hands on them that are looking for their quarterback of the future? Who can they look to?
Well, there's Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback down at Texas A&M, who had his pro day today. He had a foot injury and couldn't do much at the combine. But today, according to our good friend Shireen Williams at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, he completed 65 of 68 passes to the receiver. So he was very impressive, ran a 4.62 40 to show his athletic ability. So teams like Cleveland, Seattle, Miami, they were all down there to kind of kick the tires on him. Another kid to watch for later on is the Michigan State quarterback, Kirk Cousins. He had a great deal of success with them and Coach D'Antonio up there. And the Spartan quarterback's going to be available for somebody in the 2nd round.
Okay. I want to thank you for coming in, and we're about to go to a break. But when we come back, we'll be with Tony Evans, our NASCAR analyst.
Thanks for staying with From the Press Box. I'm Tony Evans with your NASCAR news. The Nationwide and Sprint Cup drivers headed west this past weekend for some high-speed racing at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. The Nationwide Series drivers kicked things off Saturday with the Royal Purple 300. The race got off to a good start with the pole sitter and driver of the number 18 Toyota, Joey Logano, taking the lead going into turn 1. The race was all quiet until lap 57 when the first yellow flag waved thanks to a piece of debris on the backstretch. A few laps later, the number 10 GoDaddy Chevrolet of Danica Patrick would experience some issues and head towards the garage. With 5 laps to go and Joe Logano steadily pulling away from the field, Brad Keselowski was not too far behind in 2nd. Logano would go on to win the Royal Purple 300, giving Joe Gibbs Racing its 8th straight win at the track. Elliott Sadler leads the nationwide point standings, followed by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Austin Dillon. Next up, the Auto Club 400 on Sunday. The Sprint Cup drivers hit the track with a heavy threat of rain. Through lap 39, the number 18 Interstate Battery Toyota of Kyle Busch well out in front, leading most of the caution-free race. By lap 88, Tony Stewart, the number 14 Office Depot Chevy, would be the new leader. But on lap 123, rain stops the race, and Stewart is named the winner. As of right now, Greg Biffle leads the point standings, followed by Kevin Harvick and Dale Jr. And some good news for crew chief Chad Knaus. He'll remain on top of the pit box after a successful appeal following infractions at Daytona in February. The Camping World Truck Series will fire back up this weekend when all three series heads to NASCAR's smallest track, Martinsville, Virginia. That's your NASCAR news. I'm Tony Evans from the Press Box returns after this.
Welcome back. It's time for Hurry Up Offense.
Call it what you want. Let's just get started. Troy Aikman said Romo's already a better quarterback than he was. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree. For most people, the argument is that Romo is good and he has potential, but at this juncture of his career, he doesn't need potential. He needs postseason action. So let's get something straight. When it's all said and done, the only thing that will surpass Aikman are Romo's stats, and that's only because Aikman retired prematurely. It didn't take Aikman long to get those boys to the Super Bowl. Romo has still not even seen an NFC championship. So it goes without question. Is he a better quarterback? No.
Oh, I'm going the complete opposite direction. Romo's a great quarterback. Look at the 2006 Colts and the 2009 Saints. Both teams were undefeated when they faced Romo, and what did he do? He picked them apart and beat them, handing them their first loss. Romo's 10 of 18 in close fourth quarter matchups, and that's, right in there with Troy Aikman at 35 and 37%. Look at it. He has a higher touchdown percentage, a higher quarterback rating, and Aikman only started for 12 seasons, and Romo's at 6 seasons, and they're almost equal stats in half the time, which is crazy. So I'm just saying, Romo's pretty good.
He is good, and I'm a Cowboys fan, but I just think that statement was ego-stimulating to possibly getting him to deliver next season.
Well, we've reached the end of another show.
Remember to tune in next week and tweet us at FTP_tweets.
Or you can check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/FromThePressBox.
And like us on Facebook.
And we've added a new feature to the show, A Moment in Sports History. On March 29, 1998, Tennessee won the National Women's Basketball Championship against Louisiana Tech. They set an NCAA record of 39-0. That's your moment in sports history. And again, she's Lauren Fluker.
He's Jamal Williams.
And this is
From the Press Box.